What's going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a Smackdown live review for June 26, 2020. We are on our way to Extreme Rules, aka the Extreme Rules, the horror show. That is the tagline, the legit tagline for Extreme Rules in 2020. And isn't that a fitting name for Extreme Rules, with the fact that everything that happened in the last week or two has been a horror show in WWE. From the speaking out movement, WWE having to actually release talent because they've admitted to wrongdoings, to the fact that there have been double-digit test results of positive cases at least we know to probably be 24, at least, test results for COVID-19. We already know Renee Young. That actually came out on Wednesday. Adam Pearce, Kayla Braxton made it known that it has been confirmed, hasn't been confirmed, but back in March, WWE, or at the beginning of April, WWE put out a statement letting us know that one talent, not an in-ring talent, but one person who works on the air was tested positive for COVID-19. They didn't tell us a name. They didn't tell us anything. But then Kayla Braxton came out on Thursday morning and said that this is her second bout with coronavirus. And she made it seem as if like doctors or somebody had told her that once you have it once, you can't get it again. And I'm thinking to myself, that's stupid as hell to think, because the coronavirus is just another type of flu or virus. The flu, you can get multiple times. I've had the flu at least 2 or 3 times in my lifetime. Did I have the flu twice in 1 year? No. But that's just how things go. So, to anybody thinking, oh, well, I had the coronavirus once, I don't have to worry about it, I'll never get it again, Kayla Braxton might well want to have a talk with you. Because it can happen, and it has happened to Kayla Braxton. Of course, we also know that Jon Moxley was not on TV this past Wednesday because he hasn't been in contact with somebody who has coronavirus or tested positive for it, and that actually turned out to be his wife. So, if anybody got it and is recovering from it, speedy recovery. I hope everyone comes out of this on the other side. Now, this taping was supposed to happen last week. This taping was supposed to happen last Tuesday. Then the whole COVID-19 thing happened, and WWE canceled the Smackdown taping because the test results weren't back in time. And they just said, you know what, we'll do it next week, the day of. Then yesterday we got it stated that this is going to be a special episode of Smackdown, a tribute to The Undertaker, because if you remember, WWE had the Last Ride documentary going on for a couple weeks, and The Undertaker's the final episode was this past Sunday, which The Undertaker did mention how he has no desire to get back in the ring at this time. If Vince McMahon needs him, though, he will be there. Does that mean The Undertaker has retired? No. Does it mean is it likely of a chance for Undertaker to wrestle a match? I hope so. But with the way things played out tonight, it just makes it feel like they did all of this thank you Undertaker stuff for nothing. We'll get into that in a little bit later. So basically, majority of this show was we got the replay of the Boneyard match, which I would watch the Boneyard match 100 times than a Boring Corbin promo, a Bobby Lashley MVP promo, a Bobby Lashley match, a Jinder Mahal title reign, and so on and so forth. A Ric Flair's daughters wrestling match. I would watch the Boneyard match over all of that. So we got that tonight, and throughout the entire show tonight, we had Mick Foley, Kane, Bret Hart, Triple H, so on and so forth, of legends and Hall of Famers, talking about what made The Undertaker so special, what made The Undertaker so legendary, why he lasted for 30 plus years. I got pretty much every word from Edge, of course, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and it was just so much praise for The Undertaker. So basically, the first hour was the Boneyard match, then some, but not really. It was like the first 48 minutes of the show. We started the show off with, in the Performance Center, you had all the baby faces and maybe a couple, like all the baby faces out there chanting "Thank you, Taker," along with the Performance Center crowd, who was there, and not everybody, but a huge majority of the talent in the barricade area were wearing masks. As we know, Vince McMahon did not want anybody to wear masks. There was a story out that Vince McMahon felt like, because in Orange County it was mandated, I think last Friday or the Friday before that, that you have to wear a mask. If you're going out of your house, you don't have to wear a mask in your house if you don't want to. But if you are going out of your house to go to the store, go to the spa, go to the gym, go anywhere, you have to wear a mask. Now, Vince McMahon, of course, did not want to have to do this because he figured we're on private property, so it doesn't have to pertain to us. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's not how it works, Vince. You are a company, you are not a house, you are a business, and you have to wear a mask. That'd be like saying the owners of McDonald's don't have to come to work. Like, if you work at McDonald's, you don't have to wear a mask because you work at this one and it's private property, and the owner of this building works here, so they don't mandate masks, so you don't have to wear them. That's not how it works. So we did see a vast majority of the talent around the barricade wearing masks, but not everybody. But I would say it's better than none if you want to go down that road. But it was what it was. So we got Smackdown. We got the entire Performance Center thing. We heard from Roman Reigns, John Cena, Edge, Batista, and many more. Graves talks about Taker's 30-year career. Cole sends us to the Taker's debut match. We get highlights of the first match, which was in Survivor Series in November of 1990. November 22nd, 1990, where he was on Ted DiBiase's team, with Brother Love being the very first person to bring The Undertaker out. This is like right before Paul Bearer. Percy Pringle made his debut as the guy who would be the voice to take The Undertaker to great heights for a couple years. So we have the Boneyard match. We get some more, like during commercial breaks, we'd come back, instead of going straight back to the Boneyard match, we would get words from Hall of Famers. Back to another commercial break, and then we get some more words from Hall of Famers. And then we finish the Boneyard match. And we get to the match, it's done. We come back to Performance Center, and who so happens to be in the ring but the boringest Corbin of them all, Boring Corbin. The worst king of them all, Boring Corbin, who talks about the Undertaker, and then he starts ragging on the Undertaker, calling him a selfish prick who kissed ass. There used to be a Kiss My Ass club, like a certain club in this company that would kiss ass, and he was the founding member. Nobody lasts 30 years in a business unless you are coddled and protected by the owners. And that's what he says exactly was happening with The Undertaker, is he was coddled and protected for 30 years. He did, and then he's like, you've been stealing money from this company for 20 years. So apparently those first 10 years were A-okay by Corbin. So he's just rattling, he's shitting all over The Undertaker. And the thing he says last is, he calls him a selfish son of a bitch, holding other talent like him and back. Which, I'm sorry, Corbin, I don't think Undertaker ever held you back, because you weren't around when Undertaker was at the top. Corbin is tired of hearing legends and superstars paying respects to Undertaker and seeing the fools chant "Thank you, Taker" at the beginning of the show. He doesn't thank or respect The Undertaker. Corbin tells the crowd not to chant, but they do it anyway. Corbin wants to leave him with one final thought: you suck. Then out comes Jeff Hardy from nowhere, beats the hell out of Boring Corbin, and that was it for the opening segment of the rest of SmackDown after that. So I watched all 5. We'll talk about the 5th and final episode on Sunday. But The Undertaker said he is content without having another match in WWE. Is he really done, or are they setting us up for a Boring Corbin and Undertaker match at Extreme Rules or SummerSlam? You did all of this tonight, all of this praise, all of this complete entire thing. Is it all gonna be for Is it all gonna be bullshit? The Undertaker's not done. He's gonna face Boring Corbin, and that's gonna be his last match. Even though he even said it himself, that was a match to go out on. That match between him and AJ Styles was the perfect end to his career. And he's just going to throw it all away again because Vince McMahon needs his help right now. And let's face it, Vince McMahon needs a lot of help right now with all the COVID-19 positive tests. And the fact that it doesn't look like anytime soon we're getting back to crowds that we should have been having long ago, like we should have had for the last few, like we had before the COVID-19 bullshit started. By the way, anybody who thinks this is an actual real pandemic, you're an idiot. If this was a real pandemic, the fucking death ratio would be a lot higher than it is right now. There's over 5,000 people. There's over 5 million people who've recovered. Only not even 5,000 people who've died. 200,000 people in America who've died. If this pandemic was a real pandemic, the death and the recoveries and deaths would be flipped. Just saying. But so it looks like because WWE can't help themselves, we're getting The Undertaker versus Boring Corbin down the line because that just felt like what they were pushing the agenda for. You did all of this tribute, and it would not put it past Vince McMahon to have us have The Undertaker go out there one more time, even though you have it on documentation that he has no desire to get back into the ring. Then you did this whole entire tribute episode, which, by the way, he did not do at WrestleMania 33 when he faced off against Roman Reigns, took his coat off, took his gloves off, took his hat off. You didn't do it last time. If you bring The Undertaker back after doing this tribute tonight, you will look like Vince McMahon and the WWE will look like the biggest fucking fools out there. There is no reason there's no reason Corbin needed to go out there and try and get any more heat. People don't like the guy anyway. So why are you going to go out there and try and make this guy even more detestable and possibly tease an Undertaker match that nobody in their right mind would give a shit about? Leave The Undertaker in the past. Let's move on. Back to break, and we get another video for The Undertaker. We get, let's see here. Then we can see Jeff Hardy backstage with Sarah Schreiber. He says The Undertaker has been a mentor and a teacher to him. And if it was up to him, the WWE's Mount Rushmore would be Undertaker's face on it 4 times. Says everyone in WWE owes a gratitude to The Undertaker, especially guys like Baron Corbin. So since Taker couldn't be here to deliver a message of respect to Corbin, Hardy will do it for him. He says Corbin considered this an official challenge. It says he got his diploma from Dead Man University. Then we go back to the arena, and Graves and Cole is like, well, that match is going to happen. That's your main event tonight. Boring Corbin versus Jeff Hardy. That works fast. With Adam Pearce having COVID-19, who's the one going to be telling everyone what match is going to happen? Because he's the guy who's been on TV as an unofficial general manager making matches or agreeing to matches. So apparently they came up with a number 1 contenders fatal 4-way. This was unannounced unless it happened in the last 2 hours before SmackDown. Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss versus Dana Brooke versus Lacey Evans. The winner will take on Bayley at Extreme Rules, the Horror Show, for the SmackDown Women's Championship. By the way, this is Extreme Rules with the tagline The Horror Show, which of course is going to be going off of whatever happens between Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. Where are Extreme Rules matches? Where is a tables match, a Extreme Rules match, a Falls Count Anywhere match, a tables match, a ladder match, a chairs match? I don't care. A crowbar match. It's all just like the Extreme Rules name has lost its luster and its reason to be named Extreme Rules years ago. It's time to remove that name and give us literally anything else. So, Banks and Bayley on commentary for this. Alexa Bliss comes out first. Nikki Cross out next, followed by Dana Brooke, then Lacey Evans. And I tweeted out, oh God, Nikki Cross, please win this. They all get it started. Bliss and Cross get taken to the opposite corners and stomped away on. Cross and Bliss turn it around, trading opponents and taking turns. Cross and Bliss stand up and hug in the middle of the ring. Cross then rolls Bliss up with surprise too. Bliss is like, whoa, what the fuck? And Nikki's like, listen, I love you, but this is for that. She wants to be women's champion. She knows that, yes, they are a tag team. They are friends. But when it's a fatal four-way for the number one contendership to the women's championship, boom, here you go. Which, by the way, you have a fatal four-way number one contendership match for the Smackdown Women's Championship. Yet, we get two matches named for Extreme Rules on Monday Night Raw, the WWE Championship and the Raw Women's Championship match, where the challenger challenged them with no reason to earn a title match. Does anyone else see what they did on Monday wrong and what they did on SmackDown right? Should it be? It should be the way they did it on SmackDown. You have 2, 3, or 4 men or women, put them in a match, and see who can win. The winner goes on to face the champion. How fucking hard was that? Can someone explain that one to me? How fucking hard was that? Now, Evans ends up taking Bliss. They lock up and shoot. Bliss shoots. Nikki shoots Bliss off. She does drop down. Bliss bounces off the other side, but Lacey Evans grabs her and pulls her out. Brooke and Evans work on Cross in the ring, but they break up and start arguing. They fight and take turns on Cross in the middle of the ring. Evans and Brooke stomp away on Cross in the corner. Some more. Brooke drops Evans with a shot from the side. Brooke with a springboard elbow on Cross and Bliss, Bliss ended up in the corner with her. Evans with the clothesline on Brooke. Then she ends up with the double boots and the double double Bronco onto Bliss and Cross in the corner for a 2 count on Bliss as Brooke breaks it up. Evans tackles Brooke and unloads on her. More back and forth now. Brooke drops Evans and goes to the top for a big swanton. Hits, but Cross breaks it up. Brooke yells out wanting the title, then slams Cross. Bliss finally comes back and drops Brooke after some offense for a pop. Bliss goes to the top for the Twisted Bliss, but Brooke gets her knees up. Cross kicks Brooks to the floor. Cross and Bliss surround Evans. Now she strikes first and unloads on both of them. Cross sends Evans to the corner, but misses the clothesline. Evans drops Cross and launches her from the apron with an elbow. Brooks comes back and charges at Evans, but Evans rocks her in the mid move with the woman's right. Cross then takes advantage, rolling Evans up. Lays down on her pretty much, pinning her 1, 2, 3, and Nikki Cross is your number one contender to the SmackDown Women's Championship. So at Extreme Rules, the tag team champions will both be having title matches against the Raw with both titles. So there's a possibility, I doubt it's going to happen, but there's a possibility that both women could leave with both titles and be double champions, or both women are no championship besides the tag team titles, which would be stupid. This needs to end. This entire feud needs to end with Banks turning on Bayley, or Bayley turning on Banks, and then they have a match at SummerSlam with Sasha Banks beating Bayley for the Women's Championship. Cross celebrates with her best friend. They are taunting Bayley on the corner, and that was that. Lucha House Party with the tag team champions in the back as John Morrison and The Miz will team up with Cesaro and Nakamura to take on the Lucha House Party and the New Day. Did we not just see this match a month or 2 ago when the Forgotten Sons were being pushed up so they could go up against the tag team champions? So WWE said, well, we ain't got that big of a roster tonight because of all this COVID-19 shit. Let's take the Match that we had a couple weeks ago, the Forgotten Sons and Miz and Morrison versus Lucha House Party and New Day. Well, we can't use the Forgotten Sons, so let's take them out and let's put Nakamura and Cesaro in their place. And that's what you got tonight. This company is so fucking lazy. Back from Rain, Cole shows up another video, The Undertaker, yada yada yada. Lucha House Party, The New Day versus Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, John Morrison, The Miz. I literally could not give a shit about this match. I went to the bathroom and took a fucking dump because I just couldn't with this match. Got back towards the end of the match. Let me see here. Morrison off the apron with a Hurricane Rana. Metalik ends up dropping Miz and hitting a top rope elbow on the middle of the ring. Pin for the win. Lucha House Party and The New Day win. So, let's see. Nakamura and Cesaro beat the New Day. The Lucha House Party beat Miz and Morrison, technically. So, Lucha House Party going to beat... I'm not sorry. I'm saying Miz and Morrison going to beat Cesaro and Nakamura, and we're going to have a Fatal 4-Way at Extreme Rules again? Talk about laziness. The WWE just needs to dissolve their tag team divisions into one because it's absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Sabre Sheva is backstage with Boring Corbin. He's asking Jeff about earlier comment. Corbin knocks Cardi for going to rehab. And Jalen says Hardy should hang it up like The Undertaker. Corbin says after the night, Hardy will finally be able to rest in peace. He laughs off and walks away. Are we really going down this route, The Undertaker versus Baron Corbin? Are we really? After everything that has happened in the last week, from the 5th episode of The Last Ride, and the title of the documentary called The Last Ride, to this, where you have Baron Corbin openly mocking The Undertaker, are we really going down this road? Are we really going to go down this fucking road again? Give me a fucking break. Braun Strowman walking backstage. We see a screen flash. He starts with Bray Wyatt. Back to commercial break. Back from break and out comes Braun Strowman. Strowman takes the mic and he wants to tell when he first met Bray Wyatt. He first felt the fear of his life, the type of fear that makes you grown man tremble. You recall sitting on the edge of a swamp night when a water moccasin came up to Wyatt's lantern. And Strowman just jumped up and wanted to stomp it, but Bray Wyatt stopped him and said, "That was my friend." Strowman had no idea what he was talking about. He just was confused. And he watched Wyatt get face-to-face with the snake, and the snake bit Bray. And Wyatt just laughed. He didn't freak out, he just laughed. Wyatt laughed as the snake repeatedly bit him. And over and over and over again. If anybody doesn't know, water moccasin is very fucking venomous. So Strowman knew that he was in the presence of evil. Says Wyatt didn't get poisoned, bled, or flinched when the snake bit him in the face. All he did was laugh. Which, if you watch somebody go face to face with a water moccasin and they bite them and nothing happens, turn around and get the fuck away from them because you're in the presence of some evil diabolical shit. Now, Strowman knew that Wyatt was the devil himself, that Wyatt was the serpent. Strowman was overcome with emotion. He couldn't help it, so he started doing the devil's work. The bad part was he loved it. Loved every second of it. The screen flashes to the swamp. Strowman says part of him still loves it. He's done everything in his power to lock that side of him away, but it calls him. Says he can't go living his life this way. He asks Wyatt if he wants to go back to the swamp, to the eerie, miserable hell Wyatt calls home. Strowman says this only ends in two ways. He comes out of this the most evil son of a bitch Earth has ever seen, or he comes out with the satisfaction that he destroyed the devil. Strowman says that he would drag Wyatt in the swamp and let the alligators finish him. Strowman asks Wyatt if he wants to go to his home, the place of his creation. Strowman said he's ready to turn it into the place of his destruction one more time. Bray, let's go home. The screen flashes a swamp some more. We hear Bray Wyatt's laughing from the Firefly Funhouse. Bray Wyatt laughing. And then all of a sudden, Braun Strowman joins in the laughing and starts laughing as evil as Bray Wyatt. And then we cut to commercial break after one more flash of the Wyatt family. Now, last week I was like, this is obviously WWE's attempt to mock and do what they can to match what AEW is doing with Matt Hardy, because Matt Hardy has the multifarious gimmick going on. He could be broken. He could be unkillable. He could be classic Matt Hardy. He teased Big Money Matt on Twitter on Wednesday. But WWE's like, well, we have a guy named Bray Wyatt who has 3 phases of him. He has the Wyatt family, the Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, and the Fiend. So, let's have him do the same thing. This is going to be your cinematic match for Extreme Rules, the horror show. And this is why Extreme Rules is getting the horror show moniker, because they're going to do this swamp thing, this swamp battle. We're going to see them battle in the swamp, which if they would have had Matt Hardy on their roster still, they could have used the Lake of Reincarnation as a swamp. They could have dressed it up to look like a swamp, but they don't have Matt Hardy on their roster anymore. I mean, they have Jeff, but I don't think he's going to want to use his portion of the Hardy compound for that. Maybe he will. Who knows? Back from break, we see another video for The Undertaker featuring Batista and Mick Foley. We have our main event, Corbin versus Jeff Hardy. Now, apparently, of course, the night was supposed to be Sheamus gives a toast to Jeff Hardy. And I thought, with everything that's going on, maybe Sheamus is like, you know what? It's either A, he's positive for COVID, or B, he doesn't want to be here while this is going on, which is understandable. Also, tonight was supposed to be Drew Gulak versus AJ Styles, and that match didn't happen either, because I'm not speculating, but I could say it's either AJ Styles is A, positive for COVID, or B, doesn't want to risk bringing COVID home to his family, because AJ Styles has some pretty young kids and a wife. He doesn't want to bring it home to them. So AJ was not on this card. I don't know when AJ is going to be on this card. For all we know, AJ could have told him, was like, listen, I'll be at Extreme Rules, which is in a couple weeks. You can do whatever you want. You could have the match with Drew Gulak pushed up to Extreme Rules. I'll send some video in. I'll do some video promos or whatever. But I'm going to quarantine myself until we get to Extreme Rules. I'll be there for that, and then we'll go from there. Who knows? But he was not on here. And the reason I say AJ is because during this match, we get to a commercial break, we come back, and the New Day, Matt Riddle, Drew Gulak, Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, Jey Uso. I think it's Jey Uso who's fine. Which, by the way, Jey Uso was the only one who came out with his face covered. He had a bandana on around his face to make him look like he actually had a face mask on of some kind, while everyone else did not. And there was a couple other ones out there I can't think of off the top of my head. So they're having this match. Nothing really special about this. Jeff Hardy gets rocked at the beginning. He gets laid out immediately. They will have the Toast of Hardy next week, which, God, I don't want to see that. So they're battling back and forth here. And like I said, not much happened in this match. Now, hold on. Let's see here. Corbin shows frustration after a 2 count. Corbin charges in the outside, but Hardy moves. He hits the steel steps. Hardy brings Corbin back in, goes up top for the big swanton, covers him, pin 1, 2, 3, and that was that. So, Baron Corbin got beat with, they didn't even get hit with a twist of fate. He ran into the steps, got thrown in, got hit with a swanton, and that was that. So, after the match, Hardy's celebrating when Baron Corbin attacks him from behind. Kofi tries to help out. Kofi gets laid out. Then Big E ducks, grabs him, hits the big ending, taking him down. Then Braun Strowman comes in. Braun Strowman picks him up, hits him with the power slam. And then Hardy brings in Matt Riddle, which people are still harping on Matt Riddle because of everything that was said last week. Which, at this time, here's the thing. Matt Riddle was accused last week of sexual assault. His lawyer came out and was like, listen, this woman has been stalking them for 2 years, and they're trying to get her to stop being like that is. Here's the deal. WWE has known about Matt Riddle's problems in this whole entire thing for 2 fucking years. They feel everything is settled. If it goes to court, then we can talk about it. For now, WWE feels that he is in the clear, so they can use him for whatever they want. If you don't like it, here's an idea. You don't have to watch. But Matt Riddle comes in, he hits the floating bro, and Matt Riddle, Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Braun Strowman all get on the 4 corners while Jeff Hardy does the Undertaker pose towards the Titantron, which has a picture of the Undertaker on it, which I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, so when Baron Corbin, earlier in the match, mocks the Undertaker by doing the that same pose, it's mocking. But when Jeff Hardy does it, it's paying tribute. A little bit of double standard then. But this show absolutely, I mean, if you want to watch the Boneyard match again, it's awesome. I could, like I said, I could watch that match 100 times before listening to Baron Corbin on commentary or on the microphone. I could watch that match 100 times before I watch Ric Flair's daughter in another woman's title match. I can watch that match 100 times more than this entire episode. I would watch that match over and over and over again instead of watching the rest of the Smackdown after the match that match was over. But really, other than that, not much really happened. Yes, we have a new number 1 contenders for the Smackdown Women's Championship. What's going to happen there? Is Bayley going to lose her title because Sasha screws her over? Is it going to come down to Bayley and Sasha Banks screw each other out of their championships? Who knows? All I know is Extreme Rules should be the night that Sasha and Bayley have their breakup. Plain and simple. They've been teasing it. It needs to happen. Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt in some kind of swamp match, some kind of cinematic match. Which, the last one they did, which was cinematic of what was the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits, and that left a bad taste in our mouths. They need to come back with a better one next time, or it's not worth doing anymore, and they just need to cancel these. But that's really all there is for SmackDown. Not much else happened because they had 45 minutes of the Boneyard match and all these tributes. It's going to be interesting what happens tomorrow going into Monday because today they did not tape an episode of Monday Night Raw. But the simple fact is, apparently Vince McMahon was not happy with the results of the Raw talent. So they canceled tonight's episode that they were going to tape for Monday, and they're going to tape it tomorrow. Here's what they need to do. They need to do as much taping as they can between now and Extreme Rules, so you give your talent the next 2 weeks off. At least 2 or 3 weeks off. So when you have Extreme Rules, everyone could be quote-unquote quarantined for a good lengthy amount of time, and then we could see what happens there. And then, you know what you do after that? You tape from the night after Extreme Rules all the way up to SummerSlam. If you want to have SummerSlam when you're supposed to in August, you have SummerSlam in August. And you tape everything going up to SummerSlam. Then you know what? You have content for weeks into a month. And you want to know something else? You keep the safety of your talent at the forefront because you have all this video, all this material taped, so these men and women could be at home with their families for at least 3 weeks, and they can all be safe, and this whole COVID-19 stuff can hopefully pass more by then. Think before you go and do something stupid because Vince needs to think before he does something drastically bad that's going to cost him everything. But that is your SmackDown review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. I would like to talk some more about stuff, but really there's nothing else to talk about when it comes to SmackDown. SmackDown was a very piss-poor show. There wasn't anything outside the Boneyard match. But hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. Find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Sunday for Unscripted. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.